Hey, welcome to the video. If you're a senior citizen looking to learn about AI and don't know where to start, then this one is for you. If you don't know me, my name's Nicole, and I teach everything about AI on this channel. Now, before we start, this video is not for tech experts or for someone who already knows this stuff. This is for someone who has heard the word AI but has no real idea what it is. And honestly, that is completely fine, because millions of people are starting with AI every single day. And the good news is, AI is one of the easiest things to use that technology has ever given us. So by the time this video is done, you will know exactly what it is, how it works, how you can start using it, answers to the most common questions, and a bonus section where I'll tell you how to protect yourself from AI scams. So let's get into it. Now, before I explain AI, I want to share something that's going to make you realize you have already been using AI. You know when you open Netflix and it says, "You might like this?" That's AI. Or when you're typing a text message and your phone starts suggesting the next word for you, like you type "I love" and the phone already shows you as the next word. That's AI too. And similarly, when you ask Siri or Alexa a question and they talk back to you, when your phone unlocks just by looking at it, or when Google finishes your search before you even complete typing, all of that is also AI. So my point is, AI is not something new that suddenly showed up. It has been quietly helping us out for years. So now that you know you've already been using it, let me tell you what it actually is. And I'm going to keep this as simple as possible without any complicated or technical stuff. AI stands for artificial intelligence, and don't let those words scare you. All it really means is a computer that can think, learn, and talk like a human being. Think of it like this. Imagine you have a neighbor who has read every single book, newspaper, magazine, and article on the internet, and he's available 24/7, so whenever you have a question about anything, you just knock on his door and he always has an answer for you, without ever making you feel silly for asking. That neighbor is basically what AI is. And you know what the best part is? AI never gets tired, never gets busy, and is always available and happy to help. Now, when you talk with someone or watch something about AI, you're going to hear three words come up again and again: LLM, generative AI, and agentic AI. So I'm going to explain all three in the simplest way possible, so that next time someone brings it up, you can say, "Yeah, I know what that is." The first one is LLM, which stands for Large Language Model. That may sound very complicated, but all it means is the brain behind AI. It's what makes AI so smart. Remember the neighbor who has read everything? That's exactly the same idea as an LLM. It's a computer that has been trained on a massive amount of data and has information about almost everything, which helps it understand your questions and talk back to you like a real person. The most common example of an LLM is ChatGPT. The second word is generative AI, and this one is really simple. It means an AI that can generate or create things for you, like it can write a letter, a poem, or a best wishes message for any special event, and it can even create images and videos. So whenever you hear someone say generative AI, just know it's the AI that creates things based on what you ask it for. The third one is agentic AI, and this is the newest and easiest to understand. Agentic AI doesn't just answer your questions, it actually takes action for you. Think of it like the difference between a friend who tells you how to book an appointment versus a friend who just goes ahead and books it for you. That is agentic AI. So now you know what all of these actually mean. But these are just concepts, not something you can open up and directly use. Think of it like this. Electricity is a concept, but you need a lamp or a fan to actually use it. Same thing here, these AI tools are like the lamp and the fan. They take this technology and put it into something you can actually use. So let me introduce you to some of the biggest AI tools out there, and there's a good chance you've already heard some of these names. The first one is ChatGPT. This one is made by a company called OpenAI, based right here in California. Then there's Gemini, built by Google. Yes, the same Google you use every day. And another one that's gaining a lot of popularity recently is Claude, made by a company called Anthropic. There are also a few others, like Perplexity, Grok, DeepSeek, and Microsoft Copilot. And for today, we're going to use ChatGPT, simply because it's the most popular and the easiest to start with as a beginner. Now, if you want to use a different tool, that's totally fine. The basics and the way you work with all of these tools are pretty much the same, and you can still follow along with this video no matter which one you choose. So I'm going to share my screen and we'll go through this together. First, I'll go to my browser and type in chatgpt.com. Once I'm in, this is how the screen looks. We have a few options here on the left, something in the center asking where we should begin, and in the top right, two options: log in and sign up. Now, if you're using it for the first time, I'd recommend signing up first. So let's click on it. Here we have 3 ways to do it. You can go with anyone, but I'll select Continue with Google and choose the account I want to use for it. Provide the necessary permissions, enter my basic details, and done. Once I'm in, this is how ChatGPT looks. On the left side, you've got a few options, which we'll discuss one by one as we go through the video. Here in the center, it says, "What can I help with?" And there's a box below that where we can type and ask anything. If you ended up choosing Gemini or Claude, they also look almost the same. So everything I'm showing you right now will still make sense. Then we've got this little microphone icon right here, which lets you talk to it instead of typing. And down here at the bottom, you'll see 3 shortcut buttons. We don't need to worry about these right now. For now, we're just going to click right into that box and type our first question. I want to start with something I think almost every one of you is going to relate to. You know those letters you get from Medicare or your insurance company, and they're just full of confusing words, numbers, and codes that make no sense at all. Let's ask AI to help us with one of those. So what I'm going to do is upload a picture of one such document right into the chat. By clicking on this plus icon, then add photos and files, selecting my document and simply asking it to explain this to me in simple words, and hit send. And by the way, what we just did, by typing what we want, that thing has a name too. It's called prompting. Every time you type something to AI, you're giving it a prompt. So next time someone says prompt or prompting, you'll know exactly what they mean. Okay, so look at this. The very first thing it says is, "This is not a bill." And this line alone is worth everything, because that's usually what scares people the most when a letter like this shows up. Then it tells me that this letter is just a summary. It's simply showing me what medical visits I had, what the doctor charged for them, what Medicare agreed to pay, and what I might still owe. 4 simple things, that's it. Then it goes ahead and lists out my basic information: name, Medicare number, address, date of birth, and the time period this letter covers, just so I know this is actually about me. Now here's the part that usually confuses people the most. Look how it breaks down this table. I had 4 things done: a blood pressure checkup, a diabetes blood test, a cholesterol test, and a knee x-ray. And for each one, it shows 3 numbers: what the doctor charged, what Medicare actually approved, and what I might owe. And then it explains why those numbers are different. It says the amount charged is just what the doctor billed. The Medicare approved amount is what Medicare actually allows for that service, which is usually less than what was charged. And the you may be billed amount is my estimated share. And it even tells me I might not owe that at all, especially if I have a supplemental insurance plan. It also reminds me of 2 important things. 1, this is just a summary, not a bill. And 2, if I ever think Medicare made a mistake, I have 120 days to file an appeal. Now look at this. It even does the math for me. It adds up everything I might owe across all 4 visits and tells me the total, which is around $38. And right after that, it reminds me again that this is only an estimate and I might owe less, or even nothing at all, if I have supplemental coverage. And then it wraps the whole thing up in one simple sentence. This notice is Medicare telling you, we processed these claims. Here's what we covered, and here's what you may still owe. It is not asking you to pay right now. A letter that probably would have confused me, or maybe even worried me a little, just got explained in a way that actually makes sense, with no phone calls, no waiting on hold, and no asking my kids to explain it to me. Just one simple question, and that's it. Now I want you to notice one thing, what we just did with this letter, that was done by the LLM we talked about earlier. Remember that smart brain that's read pretty much everything? That's exactly what was working behind the scenes, reading that letter and explaining it back to me in plain, simple English. You can ask it to explain insurance forms, bank statements, a confusing recipe from a cookbook, or help you understand a new gadget. Basically, anything that feels confusing, you can just ask it to explain in simple words. So let's try something different now. You know how sometimes you want to write a nice message for someone, but the words just don't come out the way you want? Let's see if AI can help with that. Now, this is something not related to the medical letter conversation, so I'll click on this new chat button to start a new one, and type, "Can you help me write a birthday message for my granddaughter Jenny? She's turning 16. I want it to feel warm and personal, not too long." And send. And just look at this. In a few seconds, it wrote me this really sweet message. It used her name, talked about her growing up, and even signed it off for me. Sounds like something I would have sat down and written myself. Now here's something really nice. Right below the message, it actually gives me a few quick options, like making it more humorous, more emotional, or adding a shared memory. So let's say I want something more funny and playful. I'll just click on Make It More Humorous, and wait a few seconds. And look at that. Same birthday message, now with a little bit of humor sprinkled in. The joke about the fast forward button, the line about rolling her eyes at the adults, That's the kind of playful tone a grandparent might want to use. And I didn't have to write a single word myself. Now let's push this even further. I'm gonna ask, can you make a birthday card for it? And here, I want your attention. Whenever you want it to create any visual, just click on this plus icon and select Create Image. It'll show up like this with your message. Let's hit send and wait a few seconds. And wow, it actually created an entire birthday card with flowers, hearts, her name right there, and the whole message laid out beautifully. You could genuinely print this out and send it straight to her. And this isn't just for birthday messages. You can use it for writing a thank you note, a caption for a photo, an invitation for a family get-together. Basically, for anything you want to create, AI can help you do it. Now let me quickly show you a couple more things sitting right here. If you click this little plus sign, you'll see a few options pop up. Add photos and files lets you upload a picture or a document, just like we did with that medical letter. Create image lets you make a picture, just like we did with Jenny's birthday card. Web search lets ChatGPT go and check the internet for the most current information, which is great for things like checking today's news or the weather. And deep research is used when you want a really detailed report on something. You don't need to remember all of these right now, just know they're there whenever you need them. And over here on the left side, you've got a few simple things. New chat starts a new conversation. Search chats helps you find something you asked before, so if I click on this, this is how it looks. So to use this, just type whatever you remember, and it'll search it for you. Like I'll type Jenny here, and this is what I get. After that, there's this library option, which keeps a history of everything you've ever asked it, so nothing ever gets lost. There are a few more options here, like projects, apps, and codecs, but think of those like the advanced settings on your TV remote, things that are there if you ever need them, but you don't have to touch them to enjoy watching your favorite show. Now remember I mentioned Agentic AI earlier, the one that actually goes and does things for you. That feature is a little more advanced, and it can take some getting used to. So for today, I'm not going to explain it, because I want this video to stay nice and simple for your first time using AI. But if you're curious and want to see exactly how that works, drop a comment down below, and I'll make an entire video on that, just like this one. Now I want to address a few questions and worries people usually have around AI. The first one is, am I too old for this? Actually no. The number of people using AI above the age of 50 has almost doubled, which means right now millions of people in their 60s, 70s, even in their 80s are opening up ChatGPT for the very first time, just like you're doing today. Not because someone forced them to, but because they tried it, they liked it, and it made their life a little easier. So you are absolutely not too old for it. The second common worry is AI spying on me? So let me be straight with you about this one. When you type something into any AI tool, that gets stored in their system. But here's the important part. You are in control of what you share. It only knows what you type into that box. So the rule is simple. Treat it like you would treat any stranger. You wouldn't walk up to someone and hand over your social security number or your account details, right? Same thing here. Keep your conversations general and never type anything deeply personal like your passwords, your social security number, or your bank information, and you're going to be just fine. The third question I hear a lot is AI always right? Can I trust everything it says? So the honest answer is no. AI is incredibly smart, but it's not perfect. Sometimes it may give you outdated information. So the rule here is simple as well. AI is exceptionally good for everyday things, but for anything serious, like a medical decision, legal advice, or a financial choice, always double check with a real professional. Use AI as a starting point, not a final verdict. The last question is, do I need to pay for it? No. All AI tools have free versions that you can use without paying a single penny. Although there are paid plans available with extra features, you don't need any of that to get started. Now, those were some common questions around AI, but you also need to be well aware of the scams happening with AI as well. And I'm not saying this to scare you or make you feel nervous about AI. I'm saying this because I genuinely care about you, and I want you to be protected. So let me walk you through what those tricks look like, and most importantly, what you can do to protect yourself. The first scam is the voice cloning scam. This is the one that breaks my heart the most. Scammers today can use AI to clone a voice perfectly using just a few seconds of audio. Here's how the scam works. Your phone rings. You pick it up and you hear a voice that sounds exactly like your grandson or granddaughter, crying, panicking, saying, "I'm in trouble, I had an accident." It sounds exactly like them, because AI made it sound exactly like them. And then another person gets on the phone claiming to be a police officer or a lawyer, asking you to send money immediately. This has happened to thousands of families across the US. So here's what you should do. The moment you get a call like that, no matter how real it sounds or how scared you feel, hang up and immediately call your grandchild directly on the number saved in your phone, not the number that called you. And if there really is an emergency, you'll find out right away. The second one is the fake bank or government call. Your phone rings and someone says they're from your bank or from Medicare, and they say something like, "There's been suspicious activity on your account, and we need to verify your information right now, or your account will be frozen." That urgency is their weapon, because they want you to panic, so you stop thinking clearly. Here's the rule. No real bank, government agency, or Medicare office will ever call you and ask for your personal information over the phone. If you get a call like this, just hang up and call your bank directly using the number on the back of your card or on their official website and verify it manually. Now, this is something very useful and practical I want every single one of you to do. Sit down with your family and agree on a secret code word, just one simple word that only your family knows, so that if you ever get a call from someone claiming to be a family member in trouble, you simply ask, "What's the code word?" A real family member will know it immediately. A scammer will not. That one little word could save you tens of thousands of dollars. Moreover, you'll be amazed to know that you can actually use AI to protect yourself from scams. If you ever get a suspicious email or a weird text message and you're not sure if it's real, just open ChatGPT, paste the message in, and ask, "Does this look like a scam to me?" And it'll go through it and tell you exactly what looks suspicious about it. It's great to see AI fighting back against the scammers using AI. Okay, so we've covered a lot today, and I am genuinely proud of you for making it this far. A lot of people hear the word AI and immediately close the tab, but you stayed and you learned, and that right there says everything about the kind of person you are. Someone who is still curious and open to new things. Now just open any AI tool, type one question, and see what happens. That's your only homework. You don't need to master or understand everything right away, you just need to start, because starting is always the hardest part, and you're already past that. If you have any questions at all, drop them in the comments below. I always read every single one. And if you found this video helpful and it added a little value to your life, make sure to like the video, share it with your friends and family to help them start with AI, and subscribe to this channel for more valuable content like this. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.